Remember, there's raw
Goods
material.
goods that you don't make changes to, you just buy and then sell.
Correct. So we're going to buy something, which are trading goods from vendors, from suppliers. So we have to create our vendor. So in the next chapter, you're going to sell these trading goods. So first in this chapter, we're going to procure the trading goods. We're going to buy them from a vendor. And so they're going to be in our company. And then the next chapter, we're going to fulfill a customer order who wants to purchase those trading goods. Okay. So that's how this chapter and next chapter, they work together. So we're going to create those trading goods. We're going to create a vendor to be able to purchase it for in 4.2. We're going to look at our inventory to see how much we have currently in stock. And then we're going to view our account balances to make sure for that vendor that we created, do they have to pay us anything or do we have to pay them anything? Sorry, do we have to pay them anything? Some prerequisites. So you should be able to know 2.1, 3.1, and 3.2. At some point, if they say view account balances, it's not going to tell you what transaction code to go to. It might say, go back to a previous exercise, go back to, 3.2 that told you how to view account balances. So here we are, we're going to create the trading goods, create a vendor, and then you're going to do some stuff on your own. So here we're going to read first. In this section, you will create your trading goods by copying necessary material master data from the existing original trading good. Original materials do not include identifiers. For example, EPAD 1000 is an original item. It resides in headquarters. Is the original elbow pads within the system. Your materials will include your identifier. For example, EPAD 10 and then your two hashtags, which is your personal identifier. So your 35, 36, 37, 38, you would replace that. That would be your trading goods. So while creating this master data, make sure you're copying from the original trading goods and them alone to ensure accuracy. Let's complete the following tables. So in this 4.1, we need to create 3 trading goods, an elbow pad, a repair kit, and road helmet. These are the original trading goods. That's where we're going to be copying them from, but we have to create our own in our study. So for you guys are going to do EPAD 10098 is me. I don't know what you guys are. Mine's is going to be repair kit 1098 and road helmet 1098. So make sure you understand whenever it says original, you're always going to end it with 00. Whenever it says your trading goods, you're going to find which one they're talking about and you're going to end it with your 2 digits. Okay? Does this make sense to everyone? Is there someone that's confused about it? Okay, so I'm moving on. So here we are in SAP Easy Access, right? And so this is kind of similar to what you guys are used to. So here's our navigation path. So does this red dot make it confusing or is it okay? It's okay? Okay. So logistics. So we're going to go here to logistics and we're going to go to materials management, which is right here. We're then going to go to material master, which is right here. And then you're going to go to material, which is right here. And we're going to go to create special, which is here. And then there's a whole bunch of stuff that's available. Now I'm going to tell you the difference. So before we even click on anything, we're just going to look at some stuff. So there is a general create, which is MMO1. And that's typically what I use is MMO1 when I have to create any kind of material. However, they're telling you to do going into a specific trading good because it's already set up for you with some information. So that's why they're telling you to go into MMH1. So basically that's your transaction code to create trading goods is MMH1. If you wanted to create what's the transaction code to change a material immediately, and so in my earlier class, we had to do this for a few students. This one has another folder. So here you go under material, there's a couple of other folders. One is to change the material, which is MMO2. So if you had to make a change to something that's already existing in your, you already copied it down, and you want to make a change to an existing view that you have already, then you would go into MMO2. And then display is in this folder here, MMO3. And basically that's telling you that you want to display a material. So if you went in and did MMO3 right now and tried to look for one of these items, EPAD 10, 35, 36, 37, you would only see one view, which is basic data. You would see no other views for your study, okay? So what we want to do is we want to add to that. So your item already exists, but it has no views right now. So we're going to extend what you have currently in your shell. So let's go to trading goods here. And so we're double clicking on that. And so we're on step 1.12. So in the create material initial screen, enter in the following information. So remember, we have this table. And so the way that I look at this table is I have these attributes here, which are related to fields. And it tells me that if something is italics, that means I have to type it in myself. And if something is the regular font, that means I have to use a drop down. So these are the 4 fields that I should look for. So I'm going to go here, and I am in the create material initial screen. So I am in the create material initial screen. Here's my material that I have to type in, your elbow pads. There's an industry sector that's already filled in. There's a material type that's already filled in, trading goods. And this is already set up for you because you selected that special trading good. If you had just done the general, you would have to find that yourself. And then here's this copy from, and you should have it completely blank, okay? So it says here, we're going to put in your material, your elbow pad. So what do we put in here? What are we typing in?
The EPAD 10 in your number.
Correct. So I'm going to put in 1098. You put in whatever your 2 digits are. We don't have to touch retail or trading goods. We don't have to put anything in their change number. Copy from. So now we're copying this into our shell. We're copying it from where? We're copying it from the original elbow pad. So what's the original elbow pads?
EPAD 1000.
Correct. So we're doing this and you have it. So then we're going to click on the continue button. Continue button is all the way at the bottom right here, and I'm going to hit continue. Some things should come up for you. I don't know if you have anything checked off or not, but it doesn't matter because it says in step 1.4 in the select view pop-up, click deselect all. So here there's this deselect icon right here. You can hover over it and it looks like this. So I'm going to deselect everything. And it says highlight the basic data 1 row. So remember that by selecting the basic data 1 row, because it already is created in the first place, so it already exists in your shell, it doesn't necessarily create the view, but just kind of keeps it in the default to display the material to answer some of the questions at the end of this step for the chart. So we're going to click on basic data 1. Then it says highlight the purchasing row. So purchasing view. And then it says highlight the accounting one. So we actually have to use the scroll bar to go down to accounting 1, and we're going to have that. So you should have 3 things selected: basic data 1, purchasing, and accounting. What does this mean? This means that there's 3 views that we're going to need to be able to do the procurement process in lab 4.2. If these views do not exist, you will have trouble finishing 4.2. So what it's saying is click on the default setting. So there's this little button at the bottom of your pop-up that says default setting. So you're going to click on that. And then it says the first time you go through the above step, clicking on this default icon will save these selections so that default so that they will automatically be selected the next time through. This will speed up the process of creating the rest of your trading goods for this exercise. even though it will speed it up, doesn't mean that you should not be checking. So I want to make sure that even though you don't have to keep selecting them, the next time you do the other two items, you should still double check them. So now it says click on the org level. So this icon you should see, it says org levels kind of at the bottom. I want you to click on that. When you click on that, you should see something that's blank for you, right? And so what happens is the plant is going to be your DC plant in Miami. This is saying that eventually when we do 4.2, we're actually going to be purchasing them into Miami and then selling them from Miami. So remember, Miami is your distribution point, and there is no operations that's done there. So trading goods can go into that location, and you actually have a location for that. So put your plant in. So my plant for this is going to be 98 because that's my plant, but yours is something different. Then it says copy from plant. So this is really important. If you don't copy it from somewhere, it's not going to know what to do. So you want to copy it in from DC Miami. So that's always going to be your original. Every time it's saying, DC Miami, or it's saying, distribution point San Diego, then you would have something like that. So you're going to have the original MI00 for everybody. So yours should look like this, except for your 2 digits. And then it says save as the default value. So click on that default setting to make it easier when we go through this a second time. And you'll receive a message. Okay, and then click the enter button. So here's that continue button, the check mark. And you should say something that the material already exists and will be extended. Okay, so that means that we're extending it by adding more views. So when you go into this view, or when you hit enter, you should be in the purchasing view automatically. And you should see a little blue icon like this. Am I correct?
Professor, I have a question. So I had hit enter too early before I hit the copy from the original. Is there a way that I can go back, or is that going to really mess up me for exercise 2 for chapter 4?
Yes, because you didn't copy it in correctly, so it doesn't know where it's copying from. So you're going to have to go back and start from what we did before.
Okay.
And then make sure you have that copy from.
Okay.
So I'm going to move on. I'll have her join us. And then, so you're here. And so then we're in the create material EPAD. So we're here, create material EPAD 1098. And it says enter in the following information. So where it says material description, you have the number and then elbow pads. So we don't have anything right now. So under elbow pads, I want you to do whatever your 2 digit is, and then a space and elbow pads. And then it says purchasing group, you put in your GBI buyer. So here for purchasing group, yours currently probably says N00. That's not our purchasing group. Our purchasing group has to end with our 2 digits. So I'm going to look for mine, or I can just start typing it in, right? So I can look for mine and whatever. Mine's is N98 in this instance. So I'm going to double click on that, and I'm going to have N98. You should have N whatever your 2 digits are. It says the tabs that you see with the blue in them icon are the views you have just created. Use the arrow, which is right here, icons in the upper right to find all the views. Do not click on tabs without this blue icon. Clicking on a tab without this icon will create more views within the material that you don't need right now and require you to enter in more information. Okay, so the easiest way to do it is press enter. Do not press the save button. No, at all. So important. Before saving materials, make sure to view every single tab mark with the blue icon to ensure that all the necessary views are created. So what I tell students to do is just keep pressing enter until you get to the last screen, and then it will ask you to save, and that's when you want to save. So I'm going to hit enter here, and it's going to go automatically into my accounting view. Once this is my last view, I'm going to hit enter. When I hit enter, it's going to say local currencies converted. So it's saying that everything converted to US dollars. Okay. So I hit enter again and it says you're about to exit. Do you want to save your data to this material first? I'm going to hit yes. And now it said at the bottom, material EPAD 1098 was created. Okay. So this is important to know. Why? It's because if you saved it before you entered into the accounting view to change the currency, your accounting view will not show up. And so a few of my students earlier this morning found that out, that they weren't able to find their accounting view. So once you do that, so now it says refer to the beginning of this section to create the other two trading materials. Important, when creating the rest of your trading goods, make sure to enter in the appropriate material number in the copy from field. So it really takes us back out to this main page where we can create materials. So we have to go back here and we have to go and create the repair kit and the road helmet. So when I am following these instructions, do I just blindly put in elbow pads here? No. When it's italics, I'm going to replace it with whatever I have to create at that moment, right? So instead of your elbow pads, it's going to be your repair kit. Instead of the original elbow pads, it's going to be original, right? Repair kit. And I'm going to follow through. Do I need to deselect everything? No, because I'm sure that basic data 1, purchasing and accounting is already set up for me. I'm just going to double check it. I'm going to double check my organizational levels, and I'm going to make sure that copy from is there. And then I'm going to get into my stuff. So we're going to do that in a minute. So let's do that. Does that make sense to everyone, what we're doing? If it doesn't make sense, I need to make sure that you understand, because you need to comprehend what you're doing, because at some point you're going to start doing things on your own, right? And so the goal is to make it so that you're able to do it on your own. So what am I putting here for material?
The repair kit code.
Correct. 10, mine's is in the 1098. I'm not going to change anything to retail and trading goods. And then it's saying copy from. Do I copy from EPAD 1000? No, because I'm trying to create the repair kit. So what am I copying from?
The original repair kit code.
Correct, which is RKIT 1000. I'm going to hit continue. I'm going to see my views. I'm going to just make sure, double check basic, purchasing, and accounting. And I'm just going to double check. That's what it needs. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to hit organizational levels. I'm going to double check it's going into my Miami plant, and I'm copying from Miami 00, and I'm going to hit OK. I'm going to get into my purchasing view. It's got the blue icon. I'm going to do 98 repair kit right here. I'm going to do my purchasing group. I'm going to change my purchasing group to N98. Am I going to hit save here? No, because I haven't gone to my accounting. I need to view. I need to view every, I need to look at every view before I save. Otherwise, it's not going to be created. So I'm going to hit the enter button. It's going to go into my accounting view. I'm going to hit enter again. So I'm going to hit enter, and it's going to say local currency was converted. So then I'm going to hit enter again, and it's going to say you're about to exit. Do you want to save? And I'm going to say yes. And then I'm done with my second item. Now I'm going to go to my third item, which is a road helmet. Is there someone that's not with me? Okay. So we're going to go into road helmet, RHMT 10. Mine's is 98. I don't know what yours is, right? Retail's the same. Trading good is the same. Where am I copying from? The original road helmet. So I've changed this to RHMT 1000. Everyone with me?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to hit continue. My 3 views are up. One, basic data, purchasing, and accounting. I'm going to hit organizational levels. I'm going to make sure my Miami plant is there, 98. I'm now going to have Miami 00. I'm going to hit OK. I'm in my purchasing for my road helmet. I'm going to change the description, add in 98 before road helmet. In purchasing group, here, I'm going to change it up to 98. Okay, and then I'm going to not save yet. I'm going to hit enter. In the accounting view, so now it's created. I'm going to hit enter again. It's going to say, well, local currency was changed. Okay, hit enter. I'm on the last data screen reached. Do you want to save it? Yes. And now I am done. And my material was created. So now I'm
Professor?
Yes?
So if I, in the last one, not the road helmet, the repair kit, if I forgot to put the 48, do I just go in and basically redo the process and put in
No.
48?
No. I mean, so what you would do at that point is go into MMO2. So go all the way out to easy access, go into MMO2.
Okay.
Pick whatever item that you want to change. So not the road helmet, but the repair kit. Am I right?
Yep.
So I put in your 2 digits, whatever it was. Okay. And then I hit enter. It's going to ask me which view. So it's already set up. That's fine. Just hit OK. Or organizational levels. It's going to have, this is your, where you want to do it. Hit OK. And then this is only going, be careful because you only want to click on the views that you want to go to. So remember, we collected basic data. So go to these 3 dots because this is edit mode. Go to purchasing or wherever. It doesn't matter. I think you can do it from right here because you're doing it right here, right?
Yeah.
Okay. For those of you that may have forgotten, so some students forgot to update, don't just go around clicking on any view. Go to the purchasing view, and you can here make changes because it's edit mode because you're in change. You can change this if you forgot, if it was 00 and you forgot, okay? You can change it here to 98 or whatever, I'm sorry, whatever your 2 digits are. You can look here, whatever you need. After you're done, just hit save. And I have no changes made. However, you probably had some changes made, correct? It showed that you made some changes. So that's how you do it for something that already exists. If you, so let's go and display. So now it's saying, use what you learned at the beginning of this section to display your materials and fill in the information in this chart. Use the same views and organizational levels described in this step to view the information. So what was our transaction code that we used to display a material? MMO3. So at the top where you have your command bar, I want you to put in MMO3. And now you're going to get to a screen that says display. In this, you cannot do any edits. You're not going to hurt it, okay? So this can allow you to, and it's only going to let you look at whatever views you selected or you created. So let's go to our first one, EPAD 10. Mine's is 98. I don't know what yours are. So select your item, select the view. So you have your 3 views. The organizational level should be 91. I mean, MI 98 or whatever it is, and then hit OK. And here are our views. And so basic data is going to give us some information. So let's go back down to C. What do we need to find out? So what's the base unit of measure? EA, right? Correct. So we're going to do EA. What is the gross measure for the gross weight?
32.
Correct. So do 32 here. What's the material group? So the material group is right here. So remember, this is what we had done in lab 2. We're just looking at what's existing, and we're going to look at everything, and we're going to try to write it down. So our material group is safety. And then what's our purchasing group? So purchasing group is not in here. It's actually in purchasing view. So I'm going to go down to the purchasing view. And here is the purchasing view. And you can see the purchasing group for me was 98. This is double checking to make sure you did update it. It should not be 00. If it's 00, then go into MMO2 and change it. What's the price per unit? So that's not going to be here. That's probably going to be in accounting. So I'm going to look at accounting. And the price per unit is $37.50. And what is the valuation class? And so the valuation class is right here, and it's 3100. Okay. So not right now, but later on, you can go back and view the rest of them. This is where you will find out. Well, a couple of my students, when we did it the first time, they were like, oh, I don't have the accounting view. That's when I realized that they saved it instead of hitting enter. So this will just allow you to have a simple check to make sure you've got all of the 3 views that you need. You should be able to find it. Just do it yourself. Answer some of these questions yourself here.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Can you show me again how you got to the display material screen? I missed that part.
Yep. So remember when we looked at it up here, we did, what's the transaction code to display a current material? We did MMO3, but it's also here. So under materials, we looked up the different folders that are available, and there's a folder that says display. So I just put up here, because we did it earlier, MMO3. And then once I did that, it said display material. So that could be a favorite that you want to save, because you're always going to be displaying materials to look at information. And then here is where I put in whatever material I wanted to view. And then if you hit continue, it's going to ask you what views you want. So you select the views that you just created. And then if you hit enter or organizational levels, it's going to ask you what organizational level do you want me to look at? Do you want me to look at San Diego, Dallas? Well, we created it for Miami, so we're just going to look at it at Miami. And then you can see your 3 screens that you created, basic data. And then if you tab over, you'll be able to see these 3 circles. If you drop them down, you'll be able to take a look at your purchasing view that has that little blue icon, and then your accounting view that has that blue icon. And you can't, if you try to, you can't even make any changes to it because you're in the display mode. So it's only showing you what you created in your study.
Thank you.
Okay. So
Hey, Professor.
yes.
I'm so sorry. I know you just went over this. But so if it says that the material does not exist, what does that mean again?
That you didn't copy it in. What happened? You don't have it for accounting?
I put EDAP 10 and then my number 54, and it says that the material does not exist or is not activated.
Did you create it with us when we did it with the creation and when we created it?
Yes.
What is it? EPAD?
Yeah, EDAP 1054.
So you have basic data. Let's see if you have purchasing. So you have purchasing and you have accounting. So it's here. Where are you looking?
On the display.
So are you
Yeah,
going to
MMO3.
MMO3?
Yeah, MMO3, and then on the material where it says material, I type in EDAP
It's
1054.
EPAD.
Oh, EPAD.
Oh, gotcha. Thank you.
Okay. So let's move on. And so we're here. So you guys are going to fill this in yourself. 4, 5, 6, you're going to do yourself. So now we're going to create a vendor, which is the other material that you need to create. So let's create that. So I'm going to exit out of here. So in this section, you create the vendor from whom you will procure your goods. Remember, vendor master data is grouped into 3 categories. These categories consist of general data, data that is cross-company code data, data that's specific to your company, and then purchasing data. So when we copy in this vendor, we're going to have to add in some specific things that are related to you, in addition to things that are already identified by the corporate headquarters. So everybody just make sure you're following me. You can go back to all those stuff that's display things. So here we're in step 1.21 in the SAP Easy Access screen. Follow the navigation path. So you should be here. So in the main screen in the command field, type BP and press enter. So here I want you to do BP and then hit enter. So this is something new in S/4HANA, that they have all of your business partners identified instead of having vendors and customers separate. So yours is probably going to be blank here, if I'm not mistaken. So don't worry about that. This is what I want you to worry about here. Okay, this find business partner. So in the maintain business partner screen, which is right here, enter the following information. So we have 3 attributes: find, buy, and search term 1. So find needs to be, I think you guys had something else. Make sure it says business partner. In the buy, you have something else. I don't know what it is, but just do a drop down and find search term. And then for search term 1, I want you to put in 0 and then your 2 digits. So my 2 digits for this class is 98. So then I'm going to do a search, and you should have about 24 business partners that you found. And then it says when you hit click start, you'll receive a message that says business partner found. Double click on the partner 8010 and then your 2 digits. So they're starting with 7 here. So I'm going to go all the way down until I can find Olympic protective gear, which is 8010 and then your 2 digits. So everyone should be labeled as Olympic protective gear. However, the last 2 digits are different. So then it says double click on the partner. So I'm going to double click on it. And when I double click on the partner, it should pop up.
Professor?
Yeah.
I don't have the list. Like it says 24 business partners found, but it doesn't give me that list like you have them all.
Are you able to use a scroll bar and like scroll down to see any of them or no?
No.
If you cannot, then instead for buy, put in number. And for your business partner number, I want you to put in 8010 and then your 2 digits.
Okay, yeah, I got it now.
Okay, so when you find it, double click it, and then you should be here. Okay,
Yep.
so everyone's with,
Professor, could you repeat that step again?
So under here for find, do business partner.
Mm-hmm.
Then under buy, you're going to do a drop down and put number.
Okay.
And then where it says business partner, I want you to type in 8010 and then your 2 digits.
Okay, and then press start.
Then press start, yes.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Okay, double click that and then it should pop up here. Okay.
Right. Got it. Thank you.
So now we're in the change organization right here, right? But it says if you're in, you should probably be in the display. I think you guys are. So if you're in the display organization screen, click on that little eyeglass icon to switch it to change organization. So you're probably here where it says display. You want to switch it to say where it says change here, click on that eyeglasses and it will change the screen to edit mode. That's going to be now change. Okay, so is everyone in change? Okay. So then it says we're in the change screen, enter the following information. Well, the business partner we really can't change. It's kind of grayed out for us, which is fine. We just want to confirm it's your 2 digits is the last 2. It says change in BP role, which is right underneath it, and it's got an asterisk on it. It's saying that we want to find FI vendor FLVN00 defined. So I'm going to drop it down here. And I'm going to go look for FI. So it's in alphabetical. I'm going to go to where it says FI. And I'm going to find FI vendor FLVN00 defined. So when I do that, the whole screen kind of changes a little bit. Okay. And it says in the change organization, and then next to it now it's a comma, role FI vendor FLVN00. Does everyone see that? Okay, so now it's saying, hold on one second, you guys. Okay. So now what it's saying is, I want you to click on company code. So right here, you should see company code. It's right next to like the weight scale and next to relationships. So I want you to click on company code. When you click on company code, a screen changes again and it says company code like so. But remember, now what does it say? The company code is US00. Well, that's not our company code. So we have to change that, but it's grayed out, okay? So what it's saying is the next thing, step 1.27 says click company codes. And so there's this button here, and I'm going to click on this company codes. So the only company code that's available right now is US00. So we have to create it. So step 1.28 says in the FI vendor FL change company codes, which is I'm in that screen, click create. So I'm going to click this create button. And this white box opens up. I'm going to put my cursor in there once. And I'm going to put in my company code, US. What is it? I'm 98. You guys are something else. I'm going to double click when I find my company code. And then it says for supplier, you want to have it selected. So here under supplier, there's a white box. I'm going to click that on to supplier. Then it says in step 1.2 and 10, use the gray radio button to highlight your company code and click adopt. So here I'm going to highlight my company code and I'm going to hit adopt. And my company code should pop up now under that new vendor that I just tried to create. Notice that the reconciliation code and all that kind of goes away. That's fine because we're going to add that in. Okay. So now we're going to go under here, which is my GL account. So under the vendor account management, so I'm here under vendor account management. And it's saying that my reconciliation account number needs to be payables trade accounts. So I'm going to go in here. I'm going to open it up. And I'm going to see, well, there it is, payables trade accounts. So I'm going to double click it and it's going to pop up for me. Then it's saying, is there someone that's not with me? If I'm going too fast, slow me down. Okay. I'm moving on to step 1.2.12, select the vendor payment transactions. So I'm going to select this tab here, vendor payments transaction, and it's saying enter the following information. So I have to add in 3 types of information: payment terms, check double invoice, and payment block. It's going to be somewhere on this tab. So payment terms is going to be pay immediately, due net. So remember, you guys are familiar with this. How do I do that? I open it up. I'm going to look for payable immediately due net. It's the first one. I'm going to double click it. So you guys should all have 0, 0, 0, 1. Then it says check double invoice. That should be selected. So here's my little icon for double check, double invoice. I'm going to click it so that it's selected. Then it says payment block should be free for payment. Well, when I go down here, here's payment block. It already has free for payment, but I'm just going to double check it. So I'm going to open it up and I see the first one is free for payment. It's completely blank, which is fine. So I'm just going to double click it just to make sure. So that's good. Now it says click on the save button. So I see the save button at the bottom and I save. So now that portion for this BP role, financial information, vendor, FVLVN00 defined is saved. But that's not all I have to do. I have to do more. So then it says in this change screen organization, role FI vendor, screen, enter in the following information. So I still have the same BP, but now it's saying change that role to another role. And now I want you to change the role to vendor purchasing. So now the vendor information for accounting purposes is done, FI, financial information. So now it's saying we'll go down to vendor purchasing because there's certain things based on their vendor trade purchasing. So I see vendor purchasing defined. So I'm going to pull that up. The screen changes again. Okay. And now it's telling me step 1.2.15, select purchasing. So I'm going to select purchasing here. And the screen changes again. When I look at this screen, I notice that it's originally set up for US 00. Well, that's not me, right? I'm US 98. You guys are something else. So now it's saying, well, select the purchasing organization. So I'm here. I'm going to select the purchasing organization. My organization is not there. So it says, well, you're in this screen, vendor purchasing, purchasing organizations. I am. It says click on the create icon. So I'm going to click on the create icon.
I'm sorry, Professor, can you go back to before, like where you went for the purchasing organizations?
Okay, so what do you, hold on, let me finish this one. So I'm going to create this. I get a little icon. I'm going to do US 98. I'm going to find my company here and I'm going to create it. And then it's saying use the gray button, use that gray button and transfer. And so your US 98 should come up for purchasing organization. So for the person that's asking for the vendor purchasing, you're going to change your role here. So yours was originally FI. You're going to go all the way down until you find purchasing, vendor purchasing FLVNO01 defined. And then up here, you should have seen something that says purchasing. So for example, it would be like this. You should see a little icon that says purchasing. Do you see it?
Yes.
Okay, click on that. When you click on that, you should see US 00. You want to go into purchasing organization. You want to click on the create button here. It will open up a white space. You want to do US, whatever your 2 digits are. Then once you do that and you find it, then you want to select your company code and hit transfer. And then it should pop up. That's what we did up to step 1.2.19. So now you should be under change organization, role, vendor purchasing. Your purchasing organization is going to be US 98. So now we're looking and we're updating information regarding that purchasing organization and how they deal with that vendor. So now we have a lot more information that we're going to have to put in. So under the purchasing data tab, so I'm here under the purchasing data tab, I'm going to put my cursor into that first area and I'm going to go all the way to the top. I'm going to scroll to the top. And the first thing is order currency. And so here, order currency has to be USD, so United States dollar. So I'm going to look for that. So I'm searching for USD. And then payment terms is payable immediately due net. So that's the next one I have to fill in. So I'm going to find that. Then it says Incoterms. So Incoterms, this next one is versions. We don't need that. The second one, the fourth one is Incoterms. So that needs to be free on board. So I'm going to look for that. It's right here, free on board, FOB. Then in the location is Miami. That I have to type in because the font tells me it has to be typed in. And then it says planned delivery time is 0. So amount of time it takes to receive a delivery from the vendor is 0. Well, I kind of had to go down a little bit to try to find that planned delivery time. And so I found it right here, planned delivery time. It's under a section called default values for material. So I'm going to put in 0, okay? And then it says step 1.2.21 says click save. So I'm going to click save. And so changes have been made. So what does this do? This allows me to buy from this vendor. Okay, so the purchasing data that I just put in there for this vendor allows me to purchase items from this vendor, right? Procurement. And the things that I did earlier had to do with more of account information, right? Allowed me to pay this vendor. So in this vendor, although that I copied him down, I need to make changes to certain things. And this is based off of chapter 4. If you remember, whenever you have some type of vendor, and also for our procurement process, we need to buy it from the vendor, right? And then we have to pay the vendor. And so now we've put that into our master data. And so that's kind of saved. So now we're done all of this. So you should be able to answer now questions about 7, 8, 9 to 15, okay? And then you can actually view inventory data. So this is kind of looking at the stock. Do you have any inventory? So you can kind of do this yourself. And then view about account balances. So this is kind of similar to how we did it previously to view account balances. So it's going to allow you to look at the account balances for the vendor and find out what department or how to view that information, right? And so you kind of are used to doing that because we've done that already. And that's kind of FB50.